This is cork flooring, and cork has some great characteristics and it has a great story. It comes from the cork tree. It's actually the bark of the tree. And when a cork oak, it is a form of oak tree. When a cork tree starts to grow, after about 30 years, it's ready for harvest. Harvest means that they very carefully go in and split the bark and peel the bark off and then use the bark in different ways for different products. You know, they slice right here. It has to be done very carefully. If they go too deep, they'll kill the tree. Every 9 years thereafter, for the life of the tree, up to about 150 to 250 years of age, the cork is harvested. So the tree is not cut, and in fact, in most countries where cork is grown, predominantly Portugal, cork trees are protected by law and cannot be cut. Then once the bark is taken off the tree, the highest use that people are most familiar with is cork stoppers, cork for wine bottles. That takes the highest quality, and it actually uses the cork in a solid fashion. So it takes the bark and then it's cored sideways right out of the bark. Well, this material is actually shredded cork that's bonded together with a non-toxic bonding agent, a PVA glue, and made into a glue-down tile, or in this case, a floating floor, which is a little thicker and clicks together and has a little more resilience. The floating floor is like Pergo, except instead of looking at a picture of wood, you're actually looking at real wood. People don't think of cork as wood, but it is a form of wood. In fact, most of the cork products are from a completely sustainable source, if not the most sustainable source on the planet today. And this is made from actually manufacturing waste. So in addition to the cork being completely sustainable, it's made from manufacturing waste. So it's doubly beneficial. One of the best parts about working with this company is they've developed their plant in a way that takes the only byproduct they had, which was the dust from cutting the cork. And they've used that now in a biomass energy plant that converts that to heat and electricity, so that basically it's a completely closed loop system. There's nothing that comes out of the plant that's in any form of waste. In terms of its functionality, people say, well, what about liquids? Well, the first thing I say is, what about liquids? Let's go back to what it's most traditionally used for. It keeps liquid in a bottle. So it actually is generally impervious to liquid. Most cork floors are finished with some sort of wax, some sort of sealer to keep the longevity. In terms of comfort underfoot, it's extraordinarily resilient. In terms of its durability, because it's so resilient, it tends to not show wear, it tends to not show dings, it tends to not show scratches, more so than some significantly harder hardwoods. Even though these do wear and age, from an aesthetic perspective, they tend to look better and better as they get older, as opposed to worse and worse, like most hardwood floors.